Hey, what's up, Dani here, and welcome to my channel and another video. Today I'm here with another tea and books. So as you've already seen, I have uploaded and shared what I've read of the Magical Readathon, and this is part 2 of that video, which shows all the books that I have read that weren't included in the books that I've read for the Magical Readathon. So this is just the rest of the books I've read in December. Most of them are ebooks, so there's not a lot of physical stuff I can show you. There's only one manga series that I can show you. So I'm just gonna quickly go through these books and hopefully I remember what they are about, because I have nothing to look at. So I will have my phone and my Goodreads app to see, because all these books, these ebooks, are arcs that I got in exchange for an honest review. So I have stuff written down, so I will go through that, because I can't remember everything I read. I'm so bad at this wrapping up. I should do a wrap up right after I read the book, but what's the point of wrapping up one book? So yes, I just realized it looks like I also have a book that I haven't wrapped up from November, so that's been a while. So yes, all right, the first book I'm going to talk about is a male ebook called The Lonely Dad's Guide to Love by Reanna Pryce. So the very short premise of this book is you've got this guy called Alex, and he's 22 years old and he has a child with another girl, obviously. But they're separated and he has custody over the kid, and the kid is like 2 years old, and yes, so that's one character. And then we have Danny, who is a daycare worker. So he works at the daycare where Alex is bringing his son to, so they meet there at the daycare. And it's just so cute, because the whole premise of this book is two guys with children, and I'm just here for it. So that was awesome. But of course the main plot to this story is Alex's ex-girlfriend, who is kind of a terrible person, and she doesn't want her son to be around this lifestyle, as it's always called. And she's just very bad and very mean, and she wants to take custody of the kid and take the kid away from Alex, and it's just a lot of roller coaster emotions when it comes to that part, and that's the main part. And of course also how Alex and Danny meet, and how they are with the children, and how they start to connect and fall in love, and you know, like the normal gist about a male romance. But I just love the factor of a guy with a child, a single father with a child, because it's just so cute to see how hard he tries to provide for the kid. He's a very good father. I mean, it's just because the mother is selfish and doesn't want him, because he's gay, he doesn't want the son to be around him. It's not that he's a bad person or something. He provides for the kid. He's a lovely father. He's perfect. He's just great. So there's no issue about that. And it's just, I love this book, and it's adorable. I only gave it 4 stars. I forgot why I gave it 4 stars. Oh wait, I wrote it here. The reason I only gave these 4 stars, which really isn't a bad rating at all, is the fact that sometimes I didn't know who we were talking about for a second, or who was talking. Compared to the other male books I've read recently, this doesn't have dual point of views where every chapter has a point of view of one of the characters. I was never sure why people had to do that, but now I know. It just makes it more clear to what point of view we are with right now. It's easier to follow when there is an I and a he in the chapter than just he's. So that's the only reason I'm giving this 4 stars. So yes, I love the story, I love the characters. I'm a character-driven person. I need to connect with characters, otherwise the book could be so good, I'm not here for it. Because I need the characters to care about. I need someone to care. I can't just read it and be like, characters are boring, but the story is so awesome because I don't care about anything in this story, so there's no point for me. But I really love these two main characters and just loved it. It was a great book. So I would definitely recommend if you're looking for a cute little male romance book. Again, or as always with these books, there's always some smacky scenes, so right. Then the next book I've read was a really hard book to read, and I don't know how to feel about this book, not in a bad way. This book was good, I gave it 4 stars, but it's just so hard to take because of the subject, how it's the things that go on in this book. So the main thing is there's a guy named Tony and he's gay because they always, I mostly read male books, so when it comes to books. But yeah, he's gay and he has a freaking eating disorder, and basically through the whole book you go through the struggles, his struggles with his eating disorder. You go through every step he's going through when he's eating and when he, does the things. And it's so hard to read. It's just, I was just there like, oh my god, this is so sad, and oh my god, how do I protect this boy? And I was just so, I don't know, I can't describe it. I can't describe how I felt reading this book. I think that one's a male book that took me a long time to read because of that subject. It wasn't bad, it was done very well. I don't have an eating disorder, but I am not actually exactly sure if this is written by... Alright, I just got disrupted by a phone call from my mom, so I forgot where I left off. So as I said, this was a very hard book to read because of the whole eating disorder, and I just don't know if the writer has a problem. Also, it's what I liked about this is also that it's very diverse. The author, I think, is Filipino. I think, don't count on that, but I think he's Asian. And the character is Filipino as well, the main character Tony. And then we have his love interest Antonio, who is from, I don't know where he's from, but he's Hispanic, so he's Latino. So I think, or is he Italian? No, I think he's Latino. It's been a while I've read this book, it's terrible, like I keep forgetting. I can read part of my Goodreads review because I had better thoughts when I wrote this than I do now. This is when I do these videos weeks after I've read the book because I really don't remember, so. Right. So the thing I wrote is, this was a hard book to read. Its main focus is about an eating disorder. We have Tony, who is a gay man with an eating disorder, and we'll get to see his daily struggles and how he deals with it. Along the way he meets Antonio, a gay guy who does art and drag, and he's someone who changes Tony's life. So yeah, we also have drag in this book. So there's a lot of stuff that's taken into consideration here. I thankfully don't have an eating disorder, but I really like this book. I liked how it touched on the subject and how you get through all the therapy sessions and group therapy, and how the author also provides you with information on what you can do if you have an eating disorder. This is what makes me feel like the author had something like that too, because there's a lot of information as well about that whole disorder. You get phone numbers you can call if you have a problem. You get ideas, things you can do for yourself, for therapy, like how you should think, what you should like write down stuff in a diary or something. You know, there's different things that they actually tell you here that you can do if you're in this position. So it kind of felt like it was a little bit of a self-help book as well, even though it's like, it's not, it's a story. And I thought that was really cool and helpful. If you have an eating disorder and you read this book, it might be helpful for you. And so yeah, so basically it's also a self-help book in its own way. I like that this book is full of diversity. We have illness, we have a Filipino main guy and a Hispanic love interest, so I was right about that. We have drag and we have the sexuality, so it's a bit of everything. I really like the characters, especially Antonio. The eating disorder is definitely the main subject, and it's raw and honest, and you get to follow his daily struggles and how he deals with this. You get his thought process, his inner turmoil when he eats, and everything is laid out, and I really like that. It was definitely hard and sad to read, but at the same time it was great because it's how it is. It's a struggle a lot of people have, and people have to be aware of it, and they need to get help. And this book shows exactly that. And then I added a bit of a personal thing to it because it's kind of true and it's very sad. And it says, the sad part about this whole thing is I have the same thought process. I could relate to Tony's thought process even though I have no eating disorder. It's more of the I feel ashamed of eating all that part I have because I love food. I often regret it later and try to go for a walk or lift some weight. I always feel bad when I do nothing and eat all day. It's a bit sick, but oh well. That's what I wrote. So I kind of, on a very sad part, I did relate to Tony on his thought process. I didn't act out on it like he does. I'm just thinking it and be like, oh, why did I have to eat this whole pack of chips? Why did I have to take a second round of food? Why didn't I stop off? That's like the things. And I feel fat and terrible, and I just feel like I need to do something, lose some calories and all that stuff. And this is my thought process. And it's what leads to this, but I'm not going there because I know. Like, I'm aware of the things that happen, so I'm never going there. But I have the thoughts that leads to that. So, but yeah, anyway, this is the book, and again, I don't know how to feel about it, and it's definitely a good book to read. And if you have an eating disorder, you should probably read this because it really kind of probably helps. I don't know, again, I don't know, but yeah, it was very hard book because it's true and it's raw. There's no faking behind anything. It's what it is. So this is what's hard about this book. It's what it is. Right. Then I wanted to read a Christmassy book because it was Christmas time and I wanted to read something Christmassy. So when I saw this male Christmassy book, I obviously requested it because yes. So I read This Christmas by J.R. Hart. I gave it 5 stars, so it must be a good book. And honestly, it's just a cute little short Christmassy story. It's fluffy, it's cute, there's some drama, it's Christmas, it's 2 guys, and it was adorable, and that's what it was, and that's what I wanted for this time. I just wanted something cute, uplifting, nothing too deep and serious, nothing too dramatic and hardcore as the other books I've read. So this was the book, and it was really cute. I'm gonna read this very little part of what I wrote to give you a little insight on the story. So I wrote, the plot revolves around a guy named Alex who moved away from LA because he wanted to get away from his life and family there. He's a closeted gay and he kissed his best friend because he read the message wrong, and all spiraled downwards from there on. He hasn't come out to his family yet, and he's afraid to do so because he just doesn't know where he stands. At his new place, randomly in a grocery shop, he meets a high on Christmas spirit guy named Nicholas, and they couldn't be more opposites. when it came to the holiday season. Due to his past, Alex is very grumpy about Christmas and Nick is very much excited and in the biggest Christmas mood you can be. This was their first encounter and you could say they probably won't be seeing each other again unless they figure out they actually live in the same building, and from there on the story develops. So yeah, basically he's kind of a bit of a Grinch when it comes to Christmas because his past was very bad during Christmas times. He didn't really have any good Christmases he can remember, so Christmas for him is just nah. And then he meets Nicholas, who is just so happy about Christmas. Like literally even for me that was too much. I was like, bro, chill. Like he's baking and singing and he's just so in the spirit and so happy, and I was just like, wow, this is so much. So they're so opposites, and it was just so cute when they met and got together and everything else that happens along the way, and it was adorable, and I just really love these little Christmas stories. So that's Christmas. So that was my book for Christmas. I only read one book for Christmas. Then the last male book I'm going to talk about is a paranormal romance between a vampire and a werewolf. And when I read this premise, I was like, I am here for this because I love paranormal shit and I haven't been reading a lot of paranormal stuff in a while, so I was like, I'm here for a vampire story. I'm here for a werewolf story. I'm here for this. So to read that there's a vampire and werewolf relationship, I was like, that is new. That's something I barely hear about, so I'm here for this. I'm requesting this and I got it. And so yeah, that's Forbidden Bond by Lee Colgin. I don't know how to say that name. I gave it 5 stars because I just really loved it, and I think there's gonna be more books in this series, so I'm excited. So as I remember, the main plot is that you have vampires and you have 2 different sorts of vampires, which I thought in itself was a really interesting premise. So you have the living vampire and the turned vampire. So these vampires in this book, in this world, they aren't turned by being bitten as humans. So they weren't like humans and then they were bitten and then turned into a vampire as it usually is. They've born vampires. And to get more people in the line, you know, like more generations, you have the living vampire. You're born as a living vampire. So you are some sort of vampire, but you're still human in what you do. You eat, you drink, you sleep, you can go into the sun, even though too much is exhausting, so it tires you out. But you can do all the human things, but you still need like a little bit of blood and you have some of the vampire things you can do. You're a faster runner and you hear better and you know all that stuff they can do, but you're not as good as the turned vampires. So you stay a living vampire until you're about 22, 23-ish, because that's the time where you can have like children and all that. So you get married, get children and all that, and as soon as that's done, as you have your children and everything, you get turned into a turned vampire. So you are officially 100% a vampire. You're undead, you sleep at the day, you don't go out in the sun, you don't eat, you only need blood, like the actual vampires. So we have the main character, Sinclair, and he's one of the living vampires, but he's like 26 already and he just don't want to be turned. He doesn't want to be turned. He likes the life he has now. He likes being able to go outside, he likes to go to school, and he likes to eat and drink and breathe and, you know, like be among humans and all that. So the only thing you have when you're a living vampire is you can be killed. So you are in danger as long as you're a living vampire. As soon as you're turned, you're immortal. So he obviously is still in danger, and he wants to study supernatural history at the university that is werewolf run. And humans don't know anything about the supernatural, so they're all hidden, not hidden, but they don't reveal themselves to the humans. So he wants to go to this university to study, but because it's werewolves that run this school, it's a bit bad. So his parents want him to get turned because he would be safer if he's undead and not immortal than being mortal. So, but he doesn't want that. And werewolves and vampires don't like each other because they've been in a war, and a lot of werewolves were being killed by vampires in that war, and the werewolves really despise the vampires. So when Sinclair joins this school, he feels very bad because he has no friends and nobody wants to talk to him, and everyone just gives him a bad look and bullies him, and like the usual shit. And he meets the alpha wolf, I think his name was Mike, and they kind of get attached to each other, even though Mike hates vampires, especially he does because his parents have been killed during the war by vampires, so he has a grudge against vampires. But something about Sinclair attracts him to the other guy, and they start to talk and they start to hang out and they start to have a thing. And I thought it was great. I loved reading this book, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on after that, or like that's not all there is to the story. There's a lot of shit going down at some point. Like the end, the highlight of the book, holy crap, there was a lot happening. So, and yeah, it has a cliffhanger, and I just want to know what happens next. So I hope the next book is coming out soon. I just really like the premise. I like the premise of the two different vampires. I like the vampire werewolf relationship, and it's just, I loved it, and I can't wait to read more. So yeah, this is Forbidden Bond. Yes, again, schmeckshy scenes to happen. So if this is not yours, don't read it. Alright, then I have one graphic novel to talk about that I also got for free in exchange for an honest review, and that one's called Days of Sugar and Spice by, let me check, Clément, Loic and Montel. These are, I think those are French people. So the story plays in France, so probably it's French people. The names are French, so French. I got this from France, so. And I gave this 4 stars, and I wrote a little bit of a review on this, and I said, I thought this little graphic novel was really cute. I actually really enjoyed the art. I loved the watercolor art and how colorful it was, and the cover is really beautiful. Actually, I just realized something. This book was also for the Magical Readathon. I forgot to include it in the other video. Shit. That was for read a book with a tree or a flower on the cover, and it has a tree on the cover, so oh well. This belongs to the Magical Readathon. Shit. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Anyway, where was I? And the cover is really beautiful. The story is wholesome, and it shows how people and situations in life can change and deserve a second chance, and I really like this. The ending was adorable, and the couple in here is so cute. Definitely love this little graphic novel, and if it becomes a printed version, I would most definitely purchase it. So it's about a girl in Paris, and she's very unhappy. She hates her job, she hates her life, she's just not happy. And when she inherits the bakery of her father, everything literally changes. She has such a bad memory of her father, and she's not sure if she wants this bakery. She doesn't know if she wants to still be connected to her father and the family and the business, and she just has a lot of struggles she goes through. But when she goes to that town where she used to live, where the bakery is, there's a lot of things that she sees and people that she meets who know her, and things that get uncovered about her family. And it was just great. It was a little contemporary slice of life little graphic novel that I really enjoyed. And as I said, the art is beautiful. It's all watercolory and colorful and beautiful, and I just really like that little graphic novel, and I'm happy I got the chance to read it digitally. And as I said, if it becomes available to purchase as a graphic novel, I will probably buy it. So yeah, that's Days of Sugar and Spice. And with that, we get to the last manga series that I have to talk about in this video, and I don't know if I want to talk about it, to be honest. So the last series I'm going to talk about in this video is Banana Fish, volumes 11 to 19, which completes the series. I have so many feels about this series. It was so dramatic and a roller coaster, and sad and happy and dramatic, and just a whirlwind of emotions. And I still don't know how to talk about this series. It's just wow. It's just wow. I mean, the shit that goes down in this series is unbelievable. It's drugs and child abuse and child pornography and people killing people and so much. Like, it's a lot. So if this is not your cup of tea, definitely don't read this. And it is a male story, but it's not really the main focus of the story. There's not a lot happening actually, so if you're not really a male reading person, you can still read this, because the romance is just a side story and not the main thing, even though the characters are a main thing. But there's no time for romance in this book, so that's what I'm saying. But yeah, it's basically about Ash, who is an American and is placed in New York, and he's been taken in by this drug crime lord's dude who is a terrible person, and he takes Ash in and he's using it for money and child pornography, and just, it's sad, it's dramatic. So, and then we get Eiichi, who is a Japanese guy, and he comes with another Japanese guy to America to write an article about this gang, and they meet and the Japanese guys get involved into the whole fiasco of this underground drug bullshit mafia thing going on there. And yes, I don't want to say too much about this, because this is best to read if you don't know anything, just saying. But if you don't like crimey stuff and gangs and mafia and all these trigger warnings I've mentioned with child abuse, child pornography, drug abuse, especially drug abuse, and yes, so don't read this. But if you're okay with that, I would definitely give this a try if you like this sort of gangster shit, let's say like that. But yeah, just the characters, I love the characters so much, and I felt so bad when one of them gets taken, gets killed, gets hurt or anything. Like, I was just, it's a big ass roller coaster. I'm just saying, this story is a roller coaster. I'm currently watching the anime, and this one's even worse, because you get visuals, you see people, you see them cry, you see them scream, you see them being happy, you see everything, and it's just terrible for my heart. So, but yes, I am so happy I finished this series. I am so glad I own this series, and I loved it. It's definitely one of my favorite manga series I've read. So, and the last volume, but yeah, this is, my battery is dying, so I need to stop. This is this video, this is this wrap up. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.